Hello, world. I was about to go to bed and I know I'm looking a mess, but I have a reason for doing this. Okay. So, a lot of people have been wondering why black folks are getting so mad at Kanye West. I don't usually get political here and I try to stay away from as much as possible, but there's some things I just have to address. For all my brothers and sisters who are not of my particular ethnicity, let me explain what saying things like racism was voluntary, or not racism, slavery. Excuse me. How did he phrase it? Hold on, let me, because I want to make sure I say it correctly. Slavery was a choice. That's what he said. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got that right. Let me explain to everyone why this is a hot button issue. I'm not even going to count presidencies and things like that right now. I'm not. Because truth is, there's always been racism. No matter who's sitting in office, and probably no matter whoever will sit in office, there'll always be racism. Slavery was not a choice. Slavery was an act of aggression against a people who another people thought were lesser than them because they didn't look, act, or behave like they did. That's why people of a darker skin tone were removed from where they knew as home to go to another place that they had no idea about and forced into a labor which they received no pay, no compensation, and no possibility of freedom. This is different from indentured servants who came to this country, worked for a number of years, and were allowed to go about their business as they saw fit. It is not the same thing at no given point. The systematic oppression that started with slavery does continue to this day, be it right up in your face with groups like the KKK and things like that, people who wave Confederate flags in front of our faces, or with more subdued forms and various ways that play out. You can see it anywhere. The point I'm trying to make is why this angers black people so much. It's one thing for a clearly racist white person to say it. Oh, slavery, either didn't have a slavery was a choice. It's one thing for a racist white person to say that because he's racist and, he's not of our skin color. It's actually semi-expected. It really is. To have an African American who's made millions of dollars off of African Americans supporting him to say some outright outlandish, ridiculous, stupid things like slavery was a choice angers us, saddens us, and is a huge disappointment to us. Because not only does that mean he didn't learn the truth of our history, that means he's blatantly ignoring our history, blatantly ignoring what people still go through because of a system that was in place hundreds of years ago of taking people from Africa and moving them not just to America but to all over the world. The effects of that are still prevalent to this day. Not just Africans, it happened to different groups, from different, countries who, when people thought those people were lesser than them. India, and Central American, like the islands, things like that. It happens. The reason I cannot stand what he said, and the reason why it has me so angry right now, and why I'm doing this at 1:30 in the morning, is because we cannot just ignore our history. Because every history, no matter whose it is, has something troublesome or questionable about it. I'm a Christian. There have been many, many things that have been done wrong in God's name. It's a fact. Black people are not completely innocent in all cases. Let's just be honest. There are some cases where we have done things absolutely where we were in the wrong. So has Americans. So has every other country, race, religion, ethnic group. Everyone has something in their history where someone did something wrong. It's just a fact. The thing is not to ignore that history. You do not ignore history, because then you repeat it. You repeat the exact same mistakes over and over again. You don't ignore history, you learn from it. You learn the good, you learn the bad, you learn the ugly, you learn the beautiful, you learn the indifferent. Why? Because it all happened, and the only way to keep it from happening again is to learn from it. Now, to all of my brothers and sisters who are Caucasian, this is not to yell at y'all, yet not to attack y'all, because you didn't do it. Even if you had ancestors who owned slaves, beat slaves, that doesn't mean that's you. Because, you know, if you are ashamed of that particular history, and you're not trying to be like that, we appreciate it. Thank you. To my African American brothers and sisters, yes, slavery happened. No, it was not a choice. But does that mean that we have to hate the descendants of the people who did it? No. I honestly don't believe that. I don't have a problem with any person just because of their skin color or their ethnic background or their religion. I really don't. If that person looks down on me because of how I look, how I talk, how I walk, what I believe, then me and that person have an issue. That doesn't mean that I have an issue with that person just because how they look, because of how I look. There's no reason for that. But yes, racism is still a thing. No matter what anyone wants to believe, no matter what anyone wants to tell you, turn on the news. It's still out there, and it's going strong. Will it end in our lifetime? I sincerely doubt it. Will it end in the lifetime after mine? I don't know. I can't speak for what's going to happen after I'm gone. But I will say to Mr. West and those who think like him, are you saying what you're saying because you honestly believe it, or because you want to get a seat at a table that you know you would not be welcome at if you didn't say these things? Because if you're trying to get a seat at those tables and you know you have to lie about our history to get there, then not only are you contributing to the problem, you have effectively become the problem. Because we will never get any further if we try to change the truth. If we try to change what happened, we will not get any further. If anyone disagrees with me, then you just disagree with me. I'm not going to change my mind about this. And to the people who I love who may disagree with me, I hope you still love me after this is over. Because there's some things that I can deal with in the news. There's some things I just can't put up with. Not when, after slavery was over, we were getting hanged from trees. People were using us as postcards. When guys like Emmett Till were being put into cotton gins and having our faces shredded up. And not when in today's day and age, we were getting shot and killed with no retribution. We get shot in the street and no one gives a damn. You get more time in jail for shooting a dog than you do for shooting a black man. That's just a fact. If you don't believe me, again, turn on the news. I don't know what else to say. All I can do is pray about it. Because that's the only weapon we got left. It's prayer. Jesus, fix it.